A reading from John chapter 12, verses 1 to 8. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, the home of Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. There they gave a dinner for him. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those at the table with him. Mary took a pound of costly perfume made of pure nard, anointed Jesus' feet, and wiped them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, the one who was about to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and the money given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He kept the common purse and used to steal what was put into it. Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me."
In this week's Gospel, we hear how Jesus attends a dinner party in Bethany with his friends, Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. The same Lazarus that Jesus had previously raised from the dead. Most dinner parties are probably quite sedate and calm affairs. Not so this one, because Mary creates a party-stopping moment when she anoints Jesus with costly perfume, and what's more, uses her hair to do it. So what was going on? Let's take a closer look at this now. Before we get to the heart of the passage, here's two superbly beautiful things about the language used. Firstly, Jesus is at a dinner party, and the words that John uses in his original manuscript for dinner is the same word as is used when we talk about the Last Supper. Jesus is having supper with his friends, and it's the same kind of supper that he'd have 6 days later at the Passover, what we now call the Last Supper. Secondly, the word used to describe Judas as a thief is exactly the same word used about the people who come to steal sheep from the sheepfold. This is beautiful and elegant writing, and it's loaded with meaning. So back to Mary. She doesn't just say, "Thank you for coming, Jesus. It's lovely to see you again." She goes all in. She doesn't hold back. She pours the costly perfume over Jesus' feet and wipes it with her hair. She is showing utter love and devotion to Jesus. And the smell of the perfume, the aroma would have filled the house, and that would also have been a manifestation of her love for Jesus, and also a reminder of God's great love for each and every one of us. The perfume she used was the same kind of perfume used for worship at the altar of the first and second temple. Mary's not holding back. She's giving it the full beans. And we're encouraged to do the same in our discipleship. Do we hold back and love God just a little? Or are we all in? Judas, of course, complains. And he may have a bit of a point, but perhaps what he's really saying is, "Oh, don't go overboard with this, Mary. Just hold back a bit. Let's love God, but let's do it sensibly." That's not what we're called to do. There's one more point about this passage which is not often said, and that is that Mary didn't just anoint Jesus. In anointing Jesus with her hair, Mary anointed herself. This anointing, this blessing that she gave to Jesus comes straight back to her. I bet for the next couple of days, Mary could still smell that perfume on herself. And it's the same for us. As we show our love for God, God shows God's love for us. And God anoints us with blessings for our journey through this life, beyond the grave and into God's presence.